Hey everybody, and welcome back to the next part of my dialing in series for the Line 6 Helix. I'm going to do another artist style in the style of patch, let's call it, or preset. This time I'm going to do another real favorite of mine as far as players go. It's Gary Moore's tone. I had somebody ask me quite a while back to take a shot at doing something in the style of Gary Moore and more toward his like Still Got the Blues tone. So I used that particular song as a bit of a template for this to sort of listen and see if I could get somewhat close. Again, you know, it doesn't seem how many times I give a disclaimer that I'm not copying the tones that I think it's impossible to because of the guitars and the you know, monitoring systems and so many variables involved. Somebody always asks, come on and give me comments about how it's not the same. And it's like, I don't know how many more ways I can say it. So anyways, again, I'm not trying to copy it. Even in the title, I put, you know, Gary Moore-ish, still got the blues-esque, you know, I got to start maybe capitalizing those. It's getting kind of comical, actually. It's pretty funny. I don't even respond anymore to these comments, but pretty funny. Anyways, so I'm not stating for the record yet again that I'm copying any tones, okay? I'm just trying to get something in the ballpark in the style of, you know, and take it for what it's worth. And if you really don't like the preset, nobody's forced to use it, right? Anyways, on to the dialing in video. So as you, let's go over to HX Edit. The research I did is on the Still Got the Blues album. Gary Moore used a Marshall JTM 45 reissue. And he was playing Gibson Les Paul. And from what I understand, the Les Paul that Peter Green gave was a 59, I believe, right? And there's a story about how the neck pickup was taken out and then put in reverse, gave it a different sound. So again, you know, it's not going to be possible to copy this. But I also read that he, along with that, a big part of the tone on that was using a Marshall Governor pedal. Now, obviously, we don't have the Marshall Governor model in the Helix. So what I did is I went with the Brit J45 normal. He just went with the normal cab. Apparently he used Electro Voice speakers. And again, this is just research I've done. I don't know if any of it's right. Obviously I wasn't there, right? But I just went with the standard stock cab that comes up with it. 412 greenback 20, 121 ribbon, an inch off. I just left it at that, okay? Let's just run through what else I did real quick. I threw, instead of a Marshall Governor, I tried a couple different overdrive pedals. The Scream 808 I tried because there were times where Gary had apparently used tube screamers. But I didn't find that really gave me what I wanted. So I went with the Minotaur, which I really like. And you can see the settings here to add a little bit of boost to the amp. A gain of 3.5, tone all the way up to 9. There's a nice bite to this tone, right? It's fat, very big in the low mids, but there is a bite to it. So we'll come back and talk about that. So with the dynamics processor at the end, my normal thing, LA Studio Comp peak reduction of 5.5, gain on 5, mix at 100%. At the end here on the parametric EQ, I did some different things. High cut at 15,000 hertz, just to let a lot of that bite come through. And the low cut a lot higher at 130 hertz. But how I got my beef out of this, my fatness, was one way, keeping the ribbon mic back at only 1 inch, which is going to give that fatness. But also boosting 300 hertz with a low a Q of 0.9, and the gain on that jacked up 8 dB. Quite a big move, and a very different move than I would normally make with a lot of guitar tones, but it seemed to get this in the ballpark. So that's what I did with the EQ. There's a fair bit of reverb on this. I decided to use a Hall reverb with a decay of 6, pre-delay of 20 milliseconds, and a mix of 30%. The delays here, just because it's in my template, I didn't use it, but you could turn it on if you want to give it a little bit more ambience, right? Split crossover I used a little bit differently. I set it at 2 kilohertz, and all the frequencies below that I didn't touch, but all the frequencies above that I boosted 7.4 dB to get some more of that little bit of a sizzle into this tone. So that's a very effective tool to use. Like I said, it's more like just a high shelf EQ, right? Boosting all those frequencies evenly above that. And I already showed you what the cab was. Now on the amp, the JTM, the JTM model, the Brit J45 norm, drive on 10, bass on 10, mid on 10, treble on 10, presence on 8.4. So everything almost wide open, right? Channel volume 7.9, master on 10. I didn't touch the deeper functions, right? So let's do this. Let's turn off the Minotaur. Let's turn off the reverb. Let's turn off the EQ. Let's turn off the split crossover. We'll keep the dynamics on at the end. Here's what the amp sounded like with these settings, with all those other things turned off. I'm on the neck pickup on my Revstar 620. as opposed to some of my other Les Paul style guitars, I find these pickups are kind of closer to just that vintage sound that I was looking for, as opposed to, say, the Lawlers in my Godin Summit, which have a little more of a high-end boost to them, okay? So that's why I went with this guitar. I really like this guitar for those sounds. One other thing, I did a performance video of this. The performance video is me sort of mimicking the first solo of Still Got the Blues over a backing track, and then the end solo, I didn't bother to learn note for note. I just kind of borrowed maybe a couple of Gary's licks and then just kind of went for it in one take. And I did that really fast this morning, so go easy on me. I'm not Gary. Gary's one of my favorite players and very hard guy to get his feel and kind of get something that's in the ballpark of what he would play. So go easy on me. But you'll get to hear how this tone sat in the mix. And again, nothing is touched in that. It's just what you're hearing this preset used over the backing track, and nothing's touched in the mix other than how you hear it in this preset. And this will be up on CustomTone, okay? So the reason I brought that up is because for the most part I used the neck pickup, but just like Gary, I tried, even though I wasn't copying him note for note, in the end outro solo at the same time where he switched to the bridge pickup, I did so too, just so you could kind of hear how this preset sounded with the neck pickup and with the bridge pickup, okay? So with everything turned off except the amp, dynamics processor at the end, and the cab, this is what this amp sounded like. Bridge pickup. Okay, so nothing wrong with that tone. A little bit dark and muddy maybe. All right, so when I bring the split crossover in now, let's turn those on and see what that did to it. So remember, again, that's boosting everything above 2 kilohertz by 7.4 dB, okay? On the neck pickup. Okay, so kind of a little bit too brittle, but that's because we don't have our EQ in at the end here. So remember what I did on the EQ. A high cut of 15 kilohertz, low cut at 130 hertz, but a huge boost around 300 hertz. Bring that in and it sounds like this on the neck pickup still. So not too bad. Let's bring the reverb in. You'll get to hear it's a pretty big reverb. And on the neck pickup. All right, so you can kind of hear it sits really nice in the mix. It sounds like a lot of reverb, but it actually sits really nice in the mix. Okay, the only thing we're missing now is the Minotaur. And like I said again, that had a gain of 3.5 and the tone up on 9. So again, without that on the neck pickup, we bring that in. Bridge pickup. Back to the neck. So, sounds great. I have this ripping through the power cab right now at a pretty good volume in here, and it sounds really nice through the power cab. I was really happy with the way it came out. I think it sits nicely in the mix. Again, please, guys, I'm not saying this is an exact copy. Obviously, there's so many variables, right? Different amp model than the one he was using, even though it might be a JTM 45. I don't know what his settings were. He was using a Marshall Governor. He was using a 59 Les Paul. Different microphones in the studio, different room, everything. So it's not a copy. It's just, I think it's something that if somebody wants to get that Gary Moore style tone from the Still Got the Blues tune, this is going to get you close. And it's, I mean, nobody's going to call you out on it. It's going to sound pretty good and work pretty good. So I'm going to have this up on CustomTone by the time this video posts. Please take the time to go check out the performance video as well, because that has this tone again. Used exactly as is with no alterations in the mix. I don't touch it afterwards, right? I balance the volume and that's it. And so you get to hear it exactly as it's going to sound with the backing track, you know, and possibly even live. And like I said, this would work beautifully live. It sounds really great through the power cab as well as the studio monitor. So anyways, download the preset, enjoy. I hope you guys like it. Try it with some different guitars, see how it sounds, your monitoring system. Let me know how it works out for you guys. And if you enjoy it, and I'll be back soon. I may not get another video done this week. Got some exciting stuff coming up in the very near future that I'm not going to say too much about yet. But yeah, so anyways, I'll see what I can do about getting something else done this week. But definitely be back next week with some more content. All right. Thanks for tuning in, guys. And please like the video, share it, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. I appreciate all the support. And I'll be back again very soon. Thanks for tuning in. Ciao for now.